What's going on, everyone? Cyclops with Paramount Cyclops here, and they're saying we're going to see a surge upon a surge, Fauci says. And Biden's COVID advisors saying that many people who spent the holidays with their family are going to end up in the ICU by Christmas. Here's the thing, though. We know that many, you're going to say that many, what is many? I mean, percentage-wise, the percentages are really low. But let's read this from the Daily Mail, and, YouTube is going to do what YouTube does. Let's read this. The number of COVID patients currently being treated in hospitals across the United States nearly doubled in the last month, hitting more than 91,000 over the Thanksgiving weekend. Yes, because people made their choice, they made their balance, and they said, our mental well-being and our family is worth the risk, and they made that decision. If I were a leader, I would look at my citizens and I would say, the citizens have made their choice and they're telling me what their choice is, so we need to figure out how we can adapt to what the citizens want, because obviously they're not doing what we want them to do right now, so it's not working. Maybe change your tact. As of Saturday, 91,635 Americans were hospitalized with the virus, according to the COVID Tracking Project. The rate of hospitalizations, now at the highest level since the pandemic began, comes after weeks of rising infection rates nationwide, with 16 states reporting record 7-day averages for daily new cases on Thursday and Friday. And here's the thing. A lot of places recommended lockdown. A lot of places recommended not travel. And the American citizens, by their actions, spoke and said, basically, no. Americans traveled. Americans gathered for Black Friday. They kind of said, we understand what's going on, but we're going to take that risk anyways. So if it is a government of the people, by the people, for the people, then maybe the government needs to change tact in some way, shape, or form. Maybe supplying free masks for everybody might be a good start, especially since they're saying now that you want the N95 masks, but they're only good, I guess you could stretch it for a couple days, but the people who are lower on the totem pole, for instance, homelessness, it's pretty hard to keep that mask clean. And if they're going to say, well, we need N95 masks to get services, then they're going to have to start supplying them for free. But I mean, show something that you're going to support people. Hey, we understand. We're telling you to lock down. You're not locking down. We got it. We're going to change our tact and work around you and figure out what we can do. But it's the same thing. Lockdown, 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 lockdown. It's fire and brimstone. It's like when you go to church and you don't hear any of the good. All you hear is the bad. Fire and brimstone, fire and brimstone, fire and brimstone. After a while, it's kind of like, good Lord, do I really want to go to church? All I hear is all the bad stuff. It's all bad stuff. Isn't there any good stuff? Anything? I don't know. Personal opinion, I know. Doctors and health officials fear the U.S. is in for a dark few weeks, with cases and deletions expected to climb rapidly because of holiday gatherings and travel. Dr. Celine Gounder, a member of President-elect Joe Biden's COVID advisory board, offered a grave warning about forthcoming spikes on Saturday, after millions of Americans traveled for Thanksgiving against the advice of public health officials. Yes, and if people keep going against the advice that they're giving, then they're going to keep going against your advice. Shoving more fire and brimstone down the pipeway isn't going to help. We fully expect in about a week or two after Thanksgiving, we will see an increase in cases first. Then about a week or two later, you'll start to see an increase in hospitalizations. And then another week or two after that, you'll start to see deletions, Gounder told CBS News, noting that symptoms of the virus can develop up to 14 days after exposure. Yes. And the American people have spoken. They understand these risks. They've spoken and they've said, look, you've had us locked down for the longest 15 days of our lives. So people are stir crazy. It's like solitary confinement. You can take a well-natured inmate and throw them in solitary confinement and they will act up just to get attention. Negative attention, yes, but attention. Human beings are geared as social creatures. You're trying to force us to go against our nature. Socialization is what got our species to survive, got us through. Unfortunately, that means many people who celebrated with family and friends over Thanksgiving will find themselves in the hospital in ICUs over Christmas and New Year's, she added. And yeah. But the people have spoken. They understand the risk, and they've spoken. I'm on the outside looking in. I'm not really having too much of an opinion. I'm just giving you the information. Obviously, if an entity that is a government gives down a decree and says, we don't want our people to do this, and yet the people continuously keep doing it, then how is shoving more fire and brimstone? The government needs to say, okay, we understand. You're not going to follow our decree. We're going to adjust. We need to figure out a different way. And it just seems like we're on perpetual lockdown. We go on lockdown, we come off lockdown. Oh, we go on lockdown, we come off lockdown. Oh, we go off lockdown, we come off lockdown. I don't want to live a life like that. Going on lockdown, coming off lockdown, going on lockdown, coming off lockdown. Maybe it's okay with you, but man. Stores, lines, just... And after a while, I think we're all suffering fatigue from it. I know I am. Anyways, I love you guys. You stay informed, and yeah, surge upon surge, that very well may be, but it was done by choice, and if Americans have made that choice, then obviously there's something there. And this is me on the outside looking in. Alright? And that's all. If I see an entity, and they're passing these rules and regulations and suggestions and things, and nobody's obeying them, something's wrong. If a state says 45 mile an hour speed limit and everybody drives 80 miles an hour down the road, well, obviously all they're doing is making everybody break the law rather than helping everybody out. If everybody's doing it, everybody's breaking the law on it, they're not obeying it, it's useless. A law is only a law, and a decree is only a decree if people obey it. If people aren't obeying it, then you need to rethink your strategy. It's not working. I don't know if any of that makes sense. Whew. I'm suffering COVID fatigue. I love you guys. And see you on the next one.